Jets receivers are actually getting open, believe it or not, and the defense has no reason to be as bad as it is. And 4 other takeaways from the Jets' Week 1 loss against the Buccaneers with the assist of some condensed replay. And I'll have Dylan Turman on tonight, so there'll be a longer form podcast tomorrow morning. He was at the game, so I'm excited to see his perspective of the game. Number 1, I think back-to-back weeks, watching the replay was kinder to offensive coordinator Tanner Engstrand. I'm thinking with a veteran quarterback like Tyrod Taylor, like he's holding the ball. Jets' longest time to throw in the NFL so far this season through 3 weeks. And you're thinking, well, that's because Tyler Johnson and Arian Smith suck. They're not open. They're not great. We'll get to them in a second. But, dudes, there's way more guys open than I thought would be. I mean, the Jets have run this dagger concept where Arian Smith clears out the deep safety and Garrett Wilson comes underneath it. They really like that play. It works so often. There's been so many times this year where that has been missed. There was 3 times in the first half that was wide open and it was missed. One time because there was a guy already on top of Tyrod Taylor by the time that the route developed, but twice Tyrod's staring right at it and just doesn't throw the ball and scrambled. So you got to hit on those plays. Mason Taylor was also wide open on the pick 6 play in the middle of the field, waving his hands wide open. Breece Hall, run blocking, not good in this one, but there was 2 opportunities where, it's tough in zone because the hole isn't, predetermined for you, but if you find it, there was 2 opportunities where if he just found that hole, it could have been a touchdown on either play, at least a 30-yard run on either play. You got to go 1 for 2 there. If you're Breece, he went 0 for 2. Chef's kiss with a horrific drop by Tyler Johnson. That would have been that's a second week in a row Tyler Johnson has had a drop. That would have been a 25-plus yard gain on a 3rd down. So Engstrand has to be better adjusting in games. The fact that he couldn't find a way to try and counter with a tunnel screen or a slip screen or some sort of play-action deep shot to get an explosive play when Todd Bowles was running the same blitz on you every single passing down. This is a week after Sean McDermott ran the same blitz every rundown. I know he's outmanned. He doesn't have a top 20 quarterback on his roster. The wide receiver room besides Garrett is gross. But still, trying to evaluate working with what you have, you would like to have seen attempts from a veteran quarterback and the coach to be able to counter towards that. But at the same time, man, a lot of meat left on the bone just by execution from the players in this one. Number 2, I don't think it's an overreaction to be very upset with the way the defense has come out and played so far this year. And the Bucs, man, they didn't really have a good game. The Bucs had 4 drops, all for first downs. The Bucs had 4 drops. They had the most amount of yards lost due to drops this week in the NFL, unless something happened on Sunday night. But after the 1 p.m. and 4 p.m. slate, Bucs most harmed by drops this week in the NFL. Obviously, they had their practice squad offensive line out there. And look, man, Engstrand, the offense is limited due to personnel, but I think there is one spot on this team where in a frugal offseason, there's going to be some holes, but the Jets said, hey, this back 7 needs to be squared away. Sherwood, pay you like a top 5 linebacker. Sauce, extend you like a top 5 corner. Stevens, Cisco, $20 million combined. A couple mid-round picks on the back end. $80 million the back 7 of the defense is making on a per-year basis. And Wilkes, Glenn, 7 years combined as defensive coordinators. You got Harris coming over from Tennessee. He's been around the block as a secondary coach. So if there was one area on this team where I think it was reasonable to expect immediate competency, it would be the coverage unit, and it just hasn't been good enough through 3 weeks. Number 3, I actually think there was an encouraging day for the Jets' younger players, including, they're not part of the rookie class, but Austin McNamara has been one of the best punters in football. All right. Juwan Briggs is like a legitimate starting 1 tech. Juwan Briggs can play, man. These defensive interior players are actually not the reason why the team is bad. Bucky Irving had 1 million carries for 5 yards. Juwan Briggs is an absolute beast. So you got those 2 in there who are you kind of almost figure are your rookies. Juwan Briggs, 3 more years of rookie control. And Armand Membu, tough game as a run blocker, but he was money in pass pro again. Armand Membu has been as good in pass pro as you could expect from a rookie tackle. Mason Taylor, a little proof of life, 4 catches. Hey, Mason Taylor exists. Let's get him more involved. A.Z. Thomas, thrown right into the fire, doesn't miss a beat. 10 reps, 6 coverage reps, targeted twice. 1 pass breakup, no catches allowed, no missed tackles. A.J. Thomas was actually the Jets' highest graded player this week by PFF. Malachi Moore comes in, couple tackles, looking comfortable near the line of scrimmage. Made a really impressive play, whipping all the way across the formation to make a tackle on 3rd down to give the Jets a chance. He was cooked by the tight end, and I believe on a corner, but he dropped it. So Malachi Moore already can be a sub-package player as a quasi-linebacker down there, and special teamer with the ceiling that you hope obviously goes higher. A.J. Thomas, immediate sniff test passed, small sample, I get it. Kiko Malagoa actually had some nice plays against the run too. Now he is so slow laterally. I don't think he has the chops to be a 3-down linebacker, but again, can he be a sub-package player, special teamer? Tyler Barron is just kind of bad. But yeah, overall, it's like those are some normal return on investments. Arian Smith hasn't done much at all, and you are starting to see some of the names that people wanted and were in my comments a lot, like Horton and Alamanor from Tennessee are starting to score some touchdowns. It's okay, that's kind of frustrating, but like, can we not do an automatically diagnosable design touch to him? Like, throw the ball deep to him, like how the Chiefs use Tyquan Thornton. That's Arian Smith, man. You got to open up the vertical passing game and give him some shots. I will credit the Jets coaches for playing him, for playing more. You know, they didn't go right to some random veteran. Smith was their number 2 receiver by snap count in this game, so I do like that. Yeah, I think there, from the players on this team who are 24 and younger, I thought you've seen some encouraging signs so far, to be honest. Not lighting the world on fire, but solid, normal return on investment kind of stuff. Number 4, keep the main thing the main thing. Tip of the cap to Robert Saleh. It's my favorite Saleh-ism, by the way, because it means nothing, but it kind of means something at the same time. Look, man, Aaron Glenn celebrating before they win. Aaron Glenn sternly clapping for 2 seconds when the clock goes to 0. It's just not the main thing to me. Dude, Nick Sirianni is a D-bag. Nobody cares. He goes to the NFC Championship every year. Dan Campbell cries and bites kneecaps. Nobody cares. If you win, you could do and say whatever you want. If you lose, anything you say will be held against you. You know, we don't need to parse through every Aaron Glenn mannerism like we're investigating Watergate. Thought last week he was terse at the podium and he looked kind of broken. And this week it was just a normal coach speak after an L. I'm in Buffalo, man. Sean McDermott is famous for the "we'll get him next time" clap. It's nothing to me. But the team is 0-3. There's lots of things to be upset about and criticize. I just can't go there, man. It's not the main thing. Number 5, Miami matters. This game against Miami matters because what do we know about the Jets so far? We know that the Jets, for playoff contending teams, they're going to play them down to the buzzer. And right now, they haven't shown the ability to finish. And that's frustrating, but kind of predictable, I guess. For a Super Bowl contending team, so far they played 1, and they were outclassed. All right, well, what happens when the Jets play teams like the Jets? Because they're going to play teams like the Jets. They're going to play the Panthers and the Browns and the Pats twice and the Dolphins twice and the Saints. They play a lot of Jets-like teams. So if you lose to Miami, then it's like, okay, full-blown tank. You're like, is this team going to win 2 games? Like, well, are we going to let this staff even draft a quarterback next year? It's going to be a spiral. And there will probably be some pressure from ownership for an early sacrificial lamb like Steve Wilkes losing his play-calling duties. It'll get that ugly quick. You beat Miami, it's like, oh, great, you won the Super Bowl. All right, man, look, you got to take it 1 week at a time. Beat Miami, and then you're like, okay, the 7-ish win season that many of us predicted is kind of still on slate because you're going to play a lot of other teams like Miami. And people say, how can you think the Jets are going to win? And it's like, dude, it's math, bro. Like, they lost to the Steelers and Buccaneers by like a combined 3 points. The Dolphins are a lot worse than those teams, so to think they could beat the Dolphins by 2 points is not that crazy. Now, am I confident they'll execute down the stretch and be able to stop those receivers? Not really, but of course they could beat the Dolphins. It's not, whatever. It's going to be a pick'em spread in Miami with 30% Jet fans at Hard Rock. So yeah, it matters. And for Miami, it matters because they might have a new coach in 8 days if they lose. So, well, I mean, the people who are jumping off of buildings, if the Jets lose to Miami and if it's like a double score loss, then I will join you, but I'm not joining you yet. And finally, number 6, I'll split the difference on 2 players that I definitely defend to my grave. Quinn Williams and Sauce Gardner. Quinn Williams, ball player, don't care, talk to a wall, debate every single wall. I really don't care. Have eyes. I have eyes. My eyes watch Quinn Williams get held 4 times, and not just missed calls. 4 holding calls against Quinn Williams. That's negative 40 yards that he caused. That is a real impact. 4 pressures. 30% of Baker Mayfield's incompletions were because of Quinn Williams pressuring him. 3 run stops. Bucky Irving had, again, 1 million carries for 5 yards. Quinn Williams has been the best player on this football team through 3 weeks. And I like our wins now at defensive tackle stat. Does Dexter Lawrence suck because the Giants are 0-3? Does Chris Jones now suck because the Chiefs are 1-2? Like, man, Quinn Williams has been an absolute beast so far this season, and he was dominant. He made them pay for having backup offensive linemen. Will McDonald, I was kind of disappointed that, he got held once, but I really thought he'd come away with a sack in this game going against the backup left tackle, even though he had that incredible special teams play. Now with Sauce, I think I would love for Sauce to demonstrate, that he is a $28 million defender without having to use a chart. Because again, we're going to pull up the chart at the end of the year. You know the charts, where you look up to the upper right quadrant and it's like EPA per play allowed and coverage per snap, yards per snap, and Sauce is going to be high up there. And those charts are indicative of him doing a very important thing. The number one thing a corner needs to do is prevent receivers from catching the football. And he's going to do that at a high level the next 14 games. I don't have any doubts about that overall. But when you have a guy who doesn't create turnovers and is uncompetitive against the run, anytime he does make a tackle against the run, has to leave and go to the tent, he almost has to be near perfect in coverage to justify his payday. He hasn't quite been so far. Is that a fair critique? And more, it's just the nature of the position. Like, I feel like an edge rusher or a wide receiver has more room for deficiencies in their game. But at corner, $30 million, I think you gotta, like with Quincy Williams, man, ball player. You could, someone who doesn't even know football, you could watch Quint, they'd be like, who's 56? That guy's flying around making big impact plays. Jalen Ramsey, ball player. I'm gonna go through Garrett Wilson's chest last play of the game and win it. Now Ramsey's been more like, declining recently, but Ramsey throughout his prime does that. Surtain does that. Kyle Hamilton does that, where you don't need the chart, you watch, and you're like, he's gonna close this game out. I just don't think Sauce has demonstrated that he could be that kind of guy. So far, I'm really hoping he does. I love Sauce. I truly, if you watch the channel for a while, I love Sauce. I still think he's way overrated. I don't care that he plays Wii golf in the off season. Some knucklehead podcast brain comments that he's got to grow out of, but I think he's a good dude, and he's a phenomenal player, but I just got to be more competitive against the run, man. It's like, Deion Sanders didn't tackle. Like, Deion Sanders scored 20 touchdowns in his career, man. Come on. You got to be able to tackle. So there it is. 6 things. Go Jets.